Dragon Quest is one of the biggest franchises of all time. You know it, I know it, this guy knows it. Dragon Quest as a series has a lot of games. However, overseas, America got a lot less base Dragon Quest games. Although all of the games that are released in America sold pretty well. I mean, not the best, but like, it's pretty good. But then PAL territories had a way worse than us. Like, not even close. Like, come on, man, not even Rocket Slime? They were supposed to get the very first Mystery Dungeon game, but that ended up getting cancelled. I bring this up because I want to talk about this. Behold, Dragon Quest. Behold, Kenshin Dragon Quest, the legendary Sword Reborn. Probably one of the more obscure Dragon Quest games that's not an arcade game or mobile game. Kenshin Dragon Quest is a plug-and-play or TV game from 2003 that uses motion controls. And at the time, in America, these were huge. I've always liked plug-and-play games. I thought they were very interesting, especially from a design standpoint. Trying to make a controller that represents the games inside of it is just really neat. So when I found out that there was a plug-and-play Dragon Quest game, I bought it immediately. No, I didn't. I knew about it for a few years and I just never bought it, but then I found out a convention brand new for 70 bucks, then I bought it, and then I never opened it up until now, just for you. So let's see what's in it. So first thing, let's look at the main appeal, the sword. And to my surprise, the sword has some weight to it. It feels really good just to swing it around and hit things. The sword itself is based off an Erdrick sword from Dragon Quest III, and you're probably thinking, where do the batteries go? They don't. That's the fun part. And then we have the game system itself, which is based off of Erdrick shield, but it's more glittery. Wow. What the fuck, chicken? Wow, let me just clean that up there. Yeah, still good to go. And now this is the most interesting piece. This is a memory card. A plug-and-play game with save files. And you just put it in there. That's pretty cool. It also comes with a full-colored manual, but that's never been scanned online. Now it is. Wow, you get a lot of stuff in this package. Setting this all up to record footage was its own adventure. But we got it, so let's see what Kenshin Dragon Quest has in store. Huh. I spent $70 on a brand new broken copy. I mean, this plug-and-play system was released over 20 years ago. It makes sense that things inside of the machine just don't work anymore. Notably, the sensor bar. A lot of these machines just don't work. And unless I want to keep buying these units and just hoping one of them works, that's just too much of a gamble. I'm sorry. Wow, this works. Like, surprisingly well. And since there's no batteries, how does the machine track the sword and not my body? The sword itself is very reflective, and that's how the system knows which way you're swinging. I actually don't really get it. Maybe some of these pictures I put up do? Maybe that one? I don't know. So you don't even need a sword, just anything reflective. Holy shit, Zoro? Diving into the game, it's... oh yeah, it's Japanese. Yeah, I went ahead and translated it. Just everything. Well, I mean, I use Google Translate for all of it. Then I would go back and localize it and make sure everything makes sense. So take everything with a grain of salt. And this isn't a patch for the game or anything. This is literally just me putting it into a video. So on my second channel, I will have a full-length playthrough where everything is translated. After you finish calibrating your sword, you get thrown into a bunch of menus. And by bunch of menus, I mean 3. But not really 3, because it's like recalibrate it. One is just your memory card, which you have nothing in it. And the story. That one we can do. The story is a retelling of the original Dragon Quest, and is actually split up between 8 chapters. With Kenshin Dragon Quest being a reimagining of Dragon Quest I, they redesigned the hero. The artwork of Dragon Quest I rarely depicts the hero without his armor. Those pictures do exist, but only in manuals or guides, and most notably the CD theater of Dragon Quest I. Now with Kenshin, they completely redesigned the whole character. Now he has blonde hair, just red outfit, that's kind of it. And from then on, this would be his new main appearance, until they just stopped doing that. Nowadays, he's almost never shown without his helmet. But they keep using the same model, so he's just always blonde, we just can't see it. Even the files still reference Kenshin. So, same story as Dragon Quest. Find the Ball of Light, save the princess, kill the Dragon Lord. Although this time the king doesn't tell us to save the princess, but instead the royal guard. So he does not give a shit. Here we also learn the ultimate technique. During boss fights, you fill up a gauge, and once that gauge is filled, you get to do the ultimate technique. Essentially just hit the balloons, but if you miss the last one, it just doesn't do anything. That's kind of it, nothing too complicated. Yet. So take all that time of you just walking around random battles and condense it into an on-rails hack and slash, is that what that is? That is a really cool thing to do with a game like this, especially considering Dragon Quest 1 gets ported and remade pretty often. So I think this is pretty cool. So the most important thing about a motion-based game, how is the motion controls? Really good actually. I was very surprised just how accurate the sword is. Wherever I swing the sword, the game picks it up. I can't underestimate how good the motion controls feel, especially when it's like a Draki and you just smack the shit out of them. To block attacks, you just slightly turn your sword and it works. I don't know how it does though. And because of the sensor bar using the reflection off the sword to determine where you swing at, if you put foil on the sword, it's way more accurate. But I can't shield attacks with it, so I'm not gonna use it. I'm sure there's a way to like mod your sword, but And the first level is just you hitting the guys. That's kind of it. After getting to the grave of Lodo, we find a little platypunk named Momotan. We beat his ass, and then he joins us on our journey. This is the biggest change to Dragon Quest 1's story, because Dragon Quest 1 is a completely solo game. You don't get any party members, and you also don't get any platypunks. He actually doesn't really change that much of the story, because he doesn't really do anything. He just kind of sits back and talks. He doesn't even help you fight. So I'm not sure why he's here. I would think because of the marketing, but he's not even on the box. I even had a hard time finding pictures of him. I had to scan them.
Hey, you guys are watching Bird Up.
I'm going to kill myself if he's not in the remake. Oh yeah, this comes with a combo system. Whenever you meet certain thresholds of the combo, your sword gets stronger, and getting hit by enemies or getting poisoned can decrease it. This is a really neat system. However, you attack too fast, so when an enemy is dead, you'll probably miss some swings because it's dead. This is an issue with having just no death animations. Some of them do have unique animations, like the Draki. He like bounces around and you can hit him a few more times to get more of a combo, but you know when he's gonna disappear. And then you have the heal slide.
That's the cutest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Throughout some levels, you can learn new spells. Given to you by an old man, usually he makes you play a minigame, sometimes he just doesn't. To open the spell menu, you have to turn your sword and get closer to the TV. And this just doesn't fucking work. Okay, so sometimes I want to shield an attack, but I accidentally open the spell menu, and to get rid of the menu, you have to swing it away. And if you swing it away, you're no longer shielding, so you just get hit by an attack. And sometimes when you have more than one spell and you want to use a spell, you have to select it and swing down on it. But because it's like, a star pattern, you can hit other spells and activate those. Oh, Carter, that sounds kind of stupid. It's not over yet. So these little ball things, that's your MP, and all spells take at least one of these MPs. And the only way to get more of these orb things, if it's a specific monster that can drop it, it's random. So 95% of the time, I just want to use those spells for healing, because if you die, you're just back at the main menu. We get Sizz, we kill a skeleton, and we saved the town. There's nothing to do at the town, you can just talk to people. That's it. No shops or anything, and that's because being the first level gives us experience and access to the mini metal shop. Killing monsters sometimes gives you a mini medal. Now what can I buy? An extra life, that's pretty good. Increased life, which is pretty useless. Increased magic, which is not useless. A vacuum, cool. Bomb dodge, it's a mini game, you just hit the guy back and forth. And spell upgrades, like Sizz into Sizzle, Heal into Mid-Heal, but now require 2 MP instead of 1. Level 2 is relatively the same as level 1, but we fight a lot more enemies from Dragon Quest IV, probably because the game just got remade on PS1 2 years prior before Kenshin. And fun fact, inside of the Dragon Warrior 7 manual, there was advertising for a Western release. Wasn't that a fun fact? Look at these grub worms, look at them, smack them around. At the town we find out there's an evil tree in the hot springs. Either that or she's teaching us about laws. Yeah, this tree kinda kicked my ass. I had to grind through level 1 a few times. And then I learned how to play the game better. We killed the evil tree and we get the iconic fairy flute. And I just replayed Dragon Quest 1 not too long ago. I have no memory of this. Yeah, so I just found out that before the flute was just there, and now they put a tree in front of it. On our way through the Poison Lagoon, we gotta do the other task. Marching through Quagmire's cave to save the princess. During the Green Dragon fight, I've noticed some things. This whole game, the entire game, is just punch out. It's all about memorizing and blocking attacks. Even some of their attacks can be interrupted. Except instead of pizza pasta, we get 2 dark skeletons that just dodge non-stop. Wait a minute. Oh shit. And the second is that I'm just defenseless against lower attacks. My shield just flashes, making me get hit by attacks. And with how fast these attacks are, not looking too good.
It's not your fault. What? The sensors are bad. They're over 20 years old.
So besides the fact that this is a huge issue, because of the motion controls work so well, the game is allowed to throw a lot of stuff at you with fast reaction time. You are constantly swinging and blocking attacks, and then your arm gets tired because you're just so good at gaming. And that's the most clear with Meadow Slimes. Like, look at this. This is great. So if you're worried about this game being for little babies and not manly men, don't worry about it. This game's kind of hard. While for the most part everything can be blocked, sometimes there's more than one thing you have to block on the screen and you just can't do it. Like the 2 skeletons. I just hate these guys. The spell Magnet Shield increases your shield size for a while. I mean, this helps a lot, but again, it takes a whole MP, so it's like, We kill dragon, we caught princess. In Dragon Quest 1, you can be like, no, you can keep her, it's okay. And in the ending, she's just not there. Kenshin does give you the option, but if you say no, she just gets mad at you until you say yes. I mean, it makes sense. In this version of the game, she does give you the tools to make the Rainbow Bridge. In the snowy tundra, we are introduced to a new mechanic, hitting things back. I am not good at this. I don't understand the timing, I don't understand the perspective. I swear, I hit things back at it and it just doesn't count. And then there's like these little chimera guys, which throws shit at you, and you can hit him back to kill it, or you can just block off the attacks, and then he does like a debuff to you, but you can just wait it out. The boss of this area is also from Dragon Quest IV, the Abominable Showman. Not the same species, this is the exact same character from Dragon Quest IV. We're just not gonna think about it. When you first encounter him, he just kind of throws snowballs at you, and if you hit him all back, he drops a spell. Oh shit, they got oomph in here? While oomph sounds amazing for this kind of game, it's not really needed due to the sordid secret. If you swipe at an enemy with 3 different angles in a quick succession, the last hit does a lot of damage, but I can't do it. I've tried. So, oomph.
Maybe you are bad at the game.
Also to this area is a new slime variant, Snow Slime. He's like a snowflake. He only appeared in Kenshin, and then he appeared in Dragon Quest 7 for 3DS as DLC. Thank God they brought him back. And now we're at stage 7. Whoa, don't look at that. We don't know who that is. We don't know what's going on. We make the Pride Path and infiltrate the Dragon Lord's castle. Uh-oh, little Momotan got caught. Look, there he goes. This whole chapter is just a boss rush. They're all pretty easy, except for that one. Dude, oh my god, he does so much damage and just so much sporadic fire, and I can't really shield, as previously mentioned, and I just don't know what to do.
The scrolls.
Okay, so it turns out these balloons are very important. We've kind of been collecting these scrolls for a while, and I just never know what to do with them. Until I had to translate everything, now I know what to do with them. If you go back to the training grounds and open your menu, you can equip different scrolls as slashes. Each slash has a unique pattern on it that you must hit the balloons in, and it does that slash with like a cool animation. Yeah, that's right, I'm kinda badass. I do sword stance. And these can do just an insane amount of damage, and even some bosses are weak to certain slashes. Yeah, you see where I'm going with this? Dragon slash? Yeah, you get it. So, here is the issue. With how complicated some of these patterns are and just how fast the cursor goes through the balloons, this sucks. You have to swing really fast and also quickly transition to the next swing, and making sure the sensor bar doesn't read that transition as an input, making it feel almost impossible to get it down consistently. A lot of do or die situations happen if I hit the move or not, and when I try to do these complicated moves, I end up just missing the last balloon. So it does nothing, and you wasted your time and you wasted an opportunity to do damage. So instead of doing these huge, bombastic, big damaging slashes, I always opt in for easier slashes but less damage, because I can hit those consistently. Also, I hope you memorize these because you can't look them up. You can only view these in the training grounds. So that's stupid. I have to write it on a piece of paper and tape it to my TV. I don't want to plug it back in. Or if you have the big bucks, you can buy the Kenshin guidebook. The guidebook has a paper cutout with all the slashes on it, and you're supposed to fold it up and put it on your TV. Also, I think you're able to make your own slashes. There was like a blank space and stickers to put on it. Like, I actually don't know. Somebody already used my stickers, but I got the Momoton one. Yeah. So there's a lot of slashes and a lot of ways to get them. The vacuum one is in the shop, some are just given to you, but some of them are secrets. There's a few slashes that you can only get if you already know the inputs. So if you do it, he's like, well, I didn't know you could do that, here you go. And it's like, thank you. But yeah, slashes are kinda stupid, they hurt my arm, and they're hard to do. And sometimes they give us more lore.
Did you know? In Kenshin Dragon Quest, the legendary sword Reborn, the legendary iconic technique known as Giga Slash was made by the swordsman Gigash. Gigash has only been mentioned in one of the Dragon Quest games, being Kenshin Dragon Quest, the legendary sword Reborn, making this the only truly canon game in the Dragon Quest series.
So we do a little bit more grinding and do some dragon slashes on him, and he's dead. Dread dragon. More like... The door opens. I rush inside to save my good buddy Momoton. But I realized that's not my Momoton, but instead a dark, fucked up version of Momoton, named Evil Momoton. Just a glimpse into this twisted realm we live in. He reveals he was sent by the Demon Lord to stop the hero, and we are forced to fight, and I win because he's kinda easy. And all that's left is to vanquish this evil spirit with one final blow. Oops. But hey, we're good now. Momoton is free and we can continue on our adventure. Momoton? Momoton? I'm happy we met, Momoton. Sleep well. I swear you'll pay for this, Dragon Lord. We descend further down for the final fight, and to put an end to this motion-based adventure, revealing to us his true form, not a pizza cutter, but a big purple dragon. This is a pretty unique fight. You fight him between two separate screens that alternate from his head to his claws whenever one takes enough damage. Unfortunately, there's not too much to this fight. The Dragon Lord was one of the very first bosses that have multiple phases, so it's weird they didn't include his first phase. Oh, but thank God they kept the skeletons. There really isn't much to it. He kinda just throws things at you, and then he tries to tickle you. Stop it! And then at his head, he just breathes fire at the bottom screen. He repeats the motion, and that's it. That's the fight. I can't finish the game. Dude, I tried so much. Grinding non-stop, optimizing spells, doing the complicated slashes, using extra lives, and nothing. Nothing will work. It sucks that this is such an easy fight that I just can't do it. So here's Gamovie Collections doing it. Oh, he's actually good at the game. Ah, that makes sense. I mean, Demon Lord died, peace is restored, hero sits on a new adventure to have lots of kids and make the other Dragon Quest games. And that is the story of Kenshin Dragon Quest. But that was just the story mode. We got some other things to look at. And I think this is way more interesting. This is a password screen. So then you're probably thinking, then what is the point of the memory card? And I'm gonna say, shut the fuck up, I'm going to tell you. The Famicom version of Dragon Quest 1 never had a battery in it, so you couldn't save the game. This was then added in the Western release of Dragon Warrior. So in the Japanese version, you had to use passwords to save your game. And the menu screen was called the Spell of Restoration. Dude, fucking look at these. Thank God the game's like 5 hours long. Since then, it's been used in Dragon Quest 2, also as a save. I mean, the first time I get it, it's a new entry, but the second time, why? There's no reason for it not to have a battery. Then in Dragon Quest 10 as a way to transfer save files. And finally in Dragon Quest 11 as a way to use cheat codes. But only in the Japanese version. I don't know why. Probably because we had batteries. And the best cheat code is you just get Dragon Quest 1 for free. And in Kenshin, they act sort of the same way. Entering certain phrases lets you play out a little episode type thing. Some of these phrases are told to you in-game, but for the most part, they aren't. At least that I could find. We have 7 episodes. Also, typing these all out when you don't know the language kinda sucks. The first one is a fight against the Mazin Golem, a brand new enemy to Kenshin. And defeating him gives you a new slash. Then we have the Knight Aberrant to get the spell Zap. I mean, that one's kind of like an important spell in Dragon Quest. I don't know why it was in the story, but instead just here. When Momotan died, he told us the name of the swordsman, Gigash, which is the password to get Gigaslash. Honestly, that's really cool. I love him. Let's kill him again. Momotan Honki lets us see a little buddy again. This is like a ghost or something. He's still dead. The Mini Metal Shop sells us a code. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, Kenshin. You're funny. Nothing actually happens. She just gets mad at you. But if you do answer correctly, she does give you a mini medal. Yeah. Thank you. Metal King lets us fight a Metal King. You can't miss any of the hits, but you get a lot of experience. And finally, Robe of Darkness has Zoma, the final boss of Dragon Quest 3, as a secret boss. That is really cool. Also, no, I couldn't fucking beat him. Have you seen me lately? All of these episodes can be replayed endlessly, so that means infinite experience and infinite mini medals. See, it's kind of like a cheat code. Also, it's really funny that Zoma is on the box and Momotan isn't. Wait, he's under the box? And the last thing Kenshin has for us? Multiplayer. In order to fully experience this, you would need a second sword and memory card. And maybe someone to play with. Whoa, what a coincidence. Would you look at that? 2 swords and a memory card. Thank you, broken machine that I spent a lot of money on. Putting the memory card into the console, it copies everything you did in Kenshin. I mean, like, yeah, no shit, it's a memory card. So all of the different slashes, spells, upgrades, and puts it all into an inventory. And you pick and choose what you want to keep. Because you're gonna be fighting your friend. Yeah, you do the same thing with the other memory card and pick out the items. And since I'm probably one of the few people that have both of these, I had to replay the game. Then I kind of stopped because I just got bored. And in retrospect, I probably could have just used the same memory card, but I didn't think about that. So one guy is just grossly overpowered, and it's me. I'm the one. You can also save your layout to the memory card if you want to go take it to your friend's house. Now during the battle, all of your tools are spun. And if you want to use a specific option, you can time your hit. It's not random. And then you have to do it again to determine how powerful that move is. This is super cool and there's a lot of strategy with it. I wish it didn't take the HP and the MP from that save file because, like, you're not gonna win. I don't want to brag or anything, but I might be the world's best Dragon Quest PvP player. This fucking guy thought he had a chance. After the battle ends, the loser has to give a winner one of their items. What I was very surprised about was how well it kept track of player 1 and 2. Even when you swinged at different times, it never messed up. And that's it for the multiplayer. Oh, and Boulder Hit. Kenshin Dragon Quest sold over 520,000 units. Up to its release, you could try out the game at several locations in Japan. And if you played during that time, you would have gone a Kenshin Post store and a Legend of Mana fan. There was also a VHS for journalists. That's what this is. Oh, and a pamphlet. And the Dragon Quest interactive website had a whole section dedicated to Kenshin, where you could view the sword, characters, and artwork. And even a location and schedule on what stores would have the Kenshin demo. By the way, I couldn't find this picture in a good quality, so if you find it, show me. I want to see it. Then the game released and everyone loved it, and the game had 2 official guides. I know a strategy guide for a plug-and-play game sounds just stupid, but with all the secrets in this game would have gone crazy on the playground. The V-Jump one has all the scans online, but the super cool official guidebook, that's the name, did not, so I had to buy it. These both share similar information, optimal slash combo, what enemies are on the path, etc. But the difference is the artwork. The V-Jump guide has a lot of Momotan. Like, a lot of Momotan. The artist for this was Akira Kikuchi, who's worked on a Digimon and Monster Hunter manga. And the super cool guide by Masahiro Tatada and Kanda Tatsushi. Tatsushi has worked on a lot of different Dragon Quest manga, but I couldn't find any information about Tatara. I have this one myself because I couldn't find any scans online, and now there is. Look at that. Sorry, it's not the best. But this guidebook does have some artwork made by Akira Toriyama that I also just couldn't find online, and has the paper cutout slashes and things that could improve the experience with Kenshin. Oh, that's what I was doing wrong. A little after Kenshin's released, Square Enix released an AC adapter and memory card, so it's no longer than 1 save file per console. And you got stickers. Here's a pencil. While Kenshin never came to America, its hardware did. Kenshin uses the Zavix software. The Zavix was developed by ex-Nintendo employees. After the release of Kenshin, the same hardware and sensors were reused for The Lord of the Rings, Warrior of Middle-earth, and Star Wars lightsaber battle game.
Stop it. I don't have those games. Stop it. Don't show up. Hey!
Since they took so much from Kenshin's DNA, even down to the 3-hit combo thing, so it's kind of funny that in a way these two are Dragon Quest games. Hypothetically, since these 3 use the same sensor, you may be able to swap them around. I mean, I don't know, I don't have them so I can't test it, but I feel like it would work. And that's everything about Kenshin Dragon Quest. It's definitely a product of its time, but if you can find a working copy, it's definitely worth playing. So much so, I'm gonna give away my working copy to one of my Patreons. If it was in a language I could understand, I'd probably like it more than just Dragon Quest 1. Until the remake comes out, because they're gonna put Momotan in it. Trust. It's really unfortunate that Square Enix didn't do more with this idea, because it's a really cool concept. Just having a sword in your hand. What you got in your mouth, buddy? What the fuck? But that was Kenshin Dragon Quest. Thank you for watching.